right, welcome back. Thanks everybody for joining in. I'm Ben. I'm not Pat.
I'm Pat.
You're Pat. I'm Ben.
You want to start this over? We can
No,
just delete it?
absolutely not.
Yeah, leave it.
Let
Let it go.
It's a real take, bro. I don't,
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, we're doing it live. Bill O'Reilly, this thing to
Yeah.
death. We got a good one today.
Yeah, a fun one.
I'm pretty excited to hear this because
I'm pretty
animated.
amped up. I'm pretty amped up.
It was me last time. It is you this time.
Yeah. This I don't know if anybody's seen this. I hope that you have. But the Chicago Teachers Union has $50 billion dollars.
Billion with a B.
Yes, demands in their new proposed contract that they would like to include pay hikes of like 9% and through the fiscal year 28. So is that 4 years?
Yeah. Yep.
Free abortions.
Free abortion.
Yep. There's housing in there. There's like bonuses, like $1,000 a kid if you get over a certain number of kids, and
Oh, good Lord.
for like it was for counselors. If counselors have any kids over their contracted amount, it's $1,000 a kid that they get.
Okay.
Yeah. But when I saw this, I was like, 50 billion. I wonder how much Illinois brings in
That's a large.
for
That's
taxes,
a large
right?
number. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of it. It's all of their tax money.
That's the best.
Illinois brings in like $50.6 billion.
That is the best part of all of this.
Oh,
Is
I'm sorry, $50.7 billion was their last year's taxes.
Is this? I was always taught by my dad. You shoot for the stars and hope for the moon, right?
Yeah, this is not shooting for
This
the
is
stars.
this is like
This is shooting for the next universe.
2 other solar systems over,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
at
this
least.
this is like this is light years away.
It's not, though. That's the craziest part, because the guy that's the mayor who negotiates with them worked for them.
There's no way you're getting 50 billion.
Well, you're not going to, right? But it's going to be sky high.
Oh, of course. But when you saw the pay rates, the pay hike, they went from 95,000 to 140.
So
the
average salary for a teacher in Chicago, which I can't imagine, is $93,000. $93,000.
I mean,
again,
hold on. They probably are wearing body armor. They probably
you probably have to.
I mean, they are.
They took the cops out of the schools, didn't they?
They did, and those
Well, I don't know
teachers.
if they did.
Those teachers have a hell of a hard job
Yes.
ahead of them. So I appreciate their dedication and what they're doing there. I mean, that is. I wouldn't want to be there.
Sure. But in 3 school years,
Yes.
so for the 27, would that be 27, 28? Is that 3 school years? Next year is 24, 25, right?
Yep. You're on the right track,
okay.
there, buddy.
I can do math. Math's hard. though.
Math. Yep.
Math's hard.
You're a math magician.
And this proves math is hard.
Yes.
So in 3 years, they would go from $93,000 average to $144,000
In 3 years.
in 3 years.
A $50,000 pay increase.
In 3 years,
In 3
it's
years.
another job.
We need these people arguing for us.
No, we don't.
Yeah, no, we do.
No, because
If they get that money, if they get that
they are
raise,
not getting that raise.
holy crap.
They can't.
That is, I mean, that's
The whole state only brought in $50.7 billion.
Yeah, they're
you
not.
still have all your emergency
Hey,
services.
There's a little pork in that. There's just a little pork, and there's like the free abortion thing. I don't know where you're going with that. Like,
Well, I mean, I guess that could be covered under health insurance, so it may not even be like that big of a thing, right? If
was
you're-
that
how
little
much
weird?
more? Yeah, for sure, it's weird.
a little weird to throw
It's-
that in there?
but it's a
on your
political
contract?
thing.
Yep, I get it.
Right? Like, it's just, I gotta make noise. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. Wow, that is.
It seems like if you're in the teachers union, you would be against free abortions because that's just gonna decrease enrollment and take away positions later. But I don't.
$1,000 extra. per
I have
kid.
no idea. I don't know how that works.
Listen. This one to me is just like man. I mean, I'll be honest. The teachers in our school district where I live, they're not putting up with the crap that those teachers are.
100%.
Those teachers are acting partly as parents to these kids. I'm sure. They're doing the
Most
best they
teachers
can.
do.
Yep, they're doing the best they can. We heard that they were struggling from the pandemic, and it looks like they're catching themselves back up to pre-pandemic levels in certain areas and maybe not in others.
Yeah. So in reading and in math was down still, but in reading, they were at pre-pandemic. They were at like, oh, now I can't find it. But math was down. So for the math, they're at like 18% that are at grade level, right? So
Yeah.
82% that are not. And then for reading, it was very similar. I think it was 22 or 26% that were at grade level.
And then,
But so going through that, there's more to that than just not being at grade level. So in 2023, rates were closer to, but still below pre-pandemic levels, according to this one article. We saw another one that said that they've gotten to the pre-pandemic levels or
Yeah.
slightly above them.
that was that Axios article.
Yeah, and this one is from illinoispolicy.org.
Yep.
So, but this says, in spring of 2023, ISBE reported 26% of Chicago 3rd through 8th grade students could read at grade level, edging closer to the 27% from the spring of 2019.
I mean, that's still really low.
That it's still really low.
You have a third of your kids in your class that can read at their grade level, right?
Yeah, but dude, listen to this. Only 18% were proficient in math, right? Compared to 24 in spring of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Where it gets crazy is that you look at 80 out of 100 students can't read at grade level. For the different races, black students, only 11 of every 100 black students were at grade level in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning those students scored either a 4 or a 5, right? So it's a scale of 1 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 meets expectations, 5 exceeds it on the assessment of readiness test.
Yeah, it's basically like their same state test that everybody takes.
So it also means that 89 out of 100 black students didn't meet the grade. This is where the numbers get crazy. Of those 89 students that failed to meet the expectations, only 21 were close to approaching grade level.
This
They
goes
scored a
back.
3.
This goes back to what I was saying in the last episode. Was these kids have been left behind? The inner
Yes.
city's been left behind, and
Yeah.
it's a Democrat policy that they've carried out to leave them behind.
Yes.
This is what gets me the most. Like,
Well, it's not just Democrat. Like, it's a Republican policy, too, because they are also not addressing it.
you're right, and but the play was put in place by the Democrats to control the black vote, right? I
Yeah.
mean, this is what they did with the welfare system. This is what they did with building the projects, low-income housing, free housing, and things like that. They wanted to keep them in a location where they could give them just enough to make people think that they were helping, and keeping them still poor enough to where they could be controlled. And then they didn't want any upward mobility in their educational system. So, and really you can't, because if you think about this, right? So if our school, we just passed a referendum, they wanted to build a new track, and they wanted to do something with the football field, and they wanted to do a bunch of things, right? So the way that referendum works is they put it in your local elections, you vote on it, right? If you vote yes, the referendum passes, well, then your property taxes go up. But who's paying property taxes in Chicago? Is it people in, free housing? Because it's property taxes. So the government owns the housing, right? So if the government owns the housing, the government's paying the property taxes.
Yeah, but that's all well and fine. But they have the second highest. They give the second highest amount per student in the country. It's $30,000, almost $30,000 a kid that they get.
Lord.
Most schools get 14. So you're talking about your school
Almost
district doesn't
double.
get that much. You're right. They don't. I'd be surprised if your
Where's the
school
money
district-
coming from?
It's
From the state?
federal, from state, and from taxes.
So I just don't understand, how are these kids being left so far
I don't
behind?
know. Well, it's like we talked about in one of the previous episodes when we first started dabbling in this a little bit. It's all the overhead. How big do you think Chicago Public Schools head office is? How many
That would be-
superintendent, assistant superintendents, all these people
I would like to see the
that you
breakdown.
have extra. I tried to find it, but Good luck.
It's either that or, I mean, the disruptions in class cause less learning, right? So if you
yeah,
have,
it can be that too.
if you have less learning in class, you have less, lower test scores, more failures, more dropouts. And it could just be a cultural thing too, that school sucks and it's not cool. I mean, school sucks for everybody. It's not cool for
Yeah, I
anyone.
hated school.
I hated school as well, but it could be just a cultural thing where they're checking out, and I can't really say that, but and say that I know that for sure. But it just seems like there's a failure here somewhere in the system. I'm glad these kids are starting to catch back up, but even if they're catching back up to pre-pandemic levels, they're still that far behind. Like, maybe that should be addressed. Somebody needs to get in there and be like, hey, why are these kids being left behind?
Yeah, so just to finish these numbers. So it was 11 that were a 4 or a 5. 21 that were a 3.
Okay, middle of the road.
Middle of the road. So now you're at 32% that are middle of the road or better.
Mm-hmm.
There were 27 that scored 2, which is partially met. And there were 41. 41% was at a 1, the lowest possible score.
Good Lord.
That's 41% of all Chicago public schools, black children stuck at the very bottom of the testing scale. Now, for Hispanics, 80 out of 100 and 50 out of 100 white and Asian students aren't at grade level. So 80% of Hispanics
They're not at grade level?
not at grade level.
And 50.
50% of white and Asian.
And that number that really drops off when you get to white and Asian kids. So they're all in the same school district, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's all CPS.
So I wonder if those white kids are like suburbs around Chicago and the school districts that, how there's suburbs around Minneapolis, there's
Yep.
suburbs around St. Paul
Sure.
that aren't inner city. So
But
is that where the
well,
numbers
I don't
coming
know
from?
how it works there because, like, the suburbs around here, they're not part of Minneapolis School District.
Right.
They all have their own,
Yeah.
which is to me, that's another huge problem. Like, how many school districts do you have that pay superintendents
Right.
how much money? I mean, at least, like, I get that you can't have the same, but maybe you have one for the county.
I've just never
I
heard
don't
of
know.
a union cleaning house that much. I've never.
Yeah, I don't.
That's some demands. Like,
But this says that they are second only to New York in spending per kid
man,
at
okay.
30,000, nearly 30,000
So,
per student.
You're a public school teacher in Chicago. You're asking for 40% pay raise over 4 years. You're asking for your salary to go to from 94,000 to 144,000 in that same 4-year period. Your students are 70% below, or average and below. The majority's below, right? Can you imagine a pipe fitter, like their union, like one of the locals going and being like, "Hey, man, listen, here's where we're at. This is what I want.
Right.
I want 100% increase in salary."
Yeah,
And those guys bust their asses, bro. Like,
yeah.
it could just never happen. How is it? I mean, how
Well,
how do you even ask
like
for this?
like we talked about, right? Like, so one, it's the teachers union.
Jesus.
Now, I know teachers, and I know that the teachers union
You
doesn't
do?
necessarily.
You know teachers?
I do know a couple.
Yeah.
Yep, I went to a college that was their big thing.
That's
Yep.
where you know them, huh?
Yep. I'm married to one.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
anyways, yeah.
thanks
keep
for
going.
getting me in trouble.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. The teachers union doesn't, like, just because that was their demands doesn't mean that came from the teachers, right? But for me,
Well, don't they have
I
to
think-
vote on a contract? Like
well,
every
at
other
some
union?
point, but this is just their demands, right? Like, this is their starting point. Like, you don't go to the union and vote on a starting point.
Well, no, but doesn't the union, like every
They should, but when
Every
was
local
like,
has-
look, you know teachers too, and how many of them didn't go along with the COVID stuff?
yeah,
But they have no choice.
they were
right
wrapped
there,
into it.
they're stuck, and they speak out and they get blackballed.
Yeah.
That's it. But so to me, I think, okay, so 83%, you can go to math or you can go to reading, right? Whatever you want. I think you should take the higher percentage, right? Whatever is
Okay.
not at, whatever level is not at. So 83% are not at
At level.
at grade level for math, then whatever your raise that was agreed to is deducted by 83%.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
Yeah.
again, it's not fair to the teachers.
Bro, I'm a pro union guy, and I can't say that I'd be. I can't jump on that one. Like, some of these teachers are probably great people.
Yeah.
They're probably great teachers, and
Sure.
they are struggling and
Yep.
slamming their heads against the wall for what they got to put up with. I don't know that it's a teacher's fault that they're not at grade level.
For sure. I agree with
one
you.
of the bigger differences, like, I think kids that do very well have a stable home life, right? They have a parent there or somebody there, a guardian there that's making them sit down and do their homework. They have somebody that can help them with their homework. If you don't have anybody that can help you with your homework,
I agree 100%.
my parents couldn't help me with my homework. I had to figure that out on my own. And I wasn't a great student. I mean, that led me straight to the military. I got out and I was like, what should I do? Should I go to a 4-year college? And the college was like, no, you're going to go to that community college. That's what you're going to do for a little while. And I was like, it's not my thing. I'm going to the military. That sounds more like where I should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that at home, you probably going to be in a lower test score. And I was always a decent enough student because I could figure it out on my own. And I wasn't afraid to ask for help. But I don't necessarily blame that on my teachers.
Yeah, but you also aren't asking for 150%.
That's the
raise.
That's the crazy thing. Yeah, that's what gets me. Is
Or,
like
well, I
it's-
guess it's not 150.
it's not 150%,
What is it?
but, I mean, it is.
Well, it's 9% every year
It's
for 3 years.
40%.
Yeah.
It's a 40% raise, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a giant raise. Plus, free abortions and whatever.
Well, that's not even, that's just better health care, right?
I guess is that what? But
I don't think, from our health care, I don't think we would pay for one.
I wonder if we do now.
No, well,
Now I kind of want to know. All right, I'm gonna call right now.
Okay.
you're on the air, lady.
yeah, I doubt we pay for it. We
Can I have an
don't pay.
abortion?
We don't pay for anything.
Yeah,
Like, we're very lucky.
yeah. I mean,
We pay for. I shouldn't say we don't pay for anything. We pay for very little.
we have great insurance. That's
the only thing that
that's
we
the-
have.
I love our insurance.
That's the only reason people put up with our schedule.
Yeah, the company's done right by keeping us with that insurance. I'm sure they could have ditched it whenever they wanted, but
Yeah.
it's the only plus I'll say. But when they get rid of it, I'm going to.
It's over for a lot of people. People are there
yeah.
for the insurance. That's it.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. So maybe what do you do? You cut the superintendent's pay by that? How do you get them support? How do you get them to do that?
I just,
You have to have something.
well, if they're dumping, what'd you say, $30-something
$30,000
$1,000 into each kid,
Double what
Where
the
is that?
average school district puts in per kid. Like, and don't tell me, well, they've got more kids. Well, guess what? That also means you get $30,000 more for each kid.
you would imagine there'd be a lot better after-school extracurricular programs.
There
right?
should be.
There should be more tutoring going on. But again, if you, man, I hate to like.
I'm not.
No,
I wasn't.
I hate
I
to
wasn't doing
speculate.
this to blame teachers.
I hate to speculate, right? But do these kids want to learn? I didn't want to learn,
Well, I didn't either.
right?
But I
mean,
was still at grade level.
Yeah, and I guess that starts for us because we were fortunate enough to be in decent schools as little kids, right? I mean, like when you have
Yeah, I guess so.
when it's structured enough to that degree, and like I said, I had parents that would whoop my ass if I didn't.
Sure, but these people don't have a choice on what school they're going to,
That's a problem.
right? School choice,
And it goes back to school choice.
right? Then maybe CPS figures out where all the money is going if they start losing enrollment.
Well, that's a Trump thing, right? He wants the money to stay with the kids.
Yeah.
So your public funding, your public dollars
Yeah,
would go to
if
private
you went
school
to a
or no
private
matter
school,
what.
which is crazy because if you look at like the private schools,
Mhm.
it doesn't like the money that you get for the public schools that are given. The private schools are cheaper than
Yeah.
that money that is given to.
Well, it's
Like
government waste.
you pay for it, right? You're paying for both. You know,
Yeah.
obviously, you're not paying the full 14,000 for your kid
You know-
in your district. You're not paying that much.
This is
But-
going to be a little off topic, but I have a funny, like, kind of a question for people out there, I guess. So, if your kid goes to a public school and they miss, like, we'll use our school district for example. If you miss 10 days of school, you get a note that comes home that your child's truant, right? It has to be excused absences.
10 days.
10 days.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It was 8 days, and you failed when I was in school.
So, I mean, it's
You were
10
done.
10
You-
days.
You repeated.
You have to have a doctor's note saying that it was excused. It's basically the only way it can be excused, right? parents can do like 10 days, and I think they did the 10-day mark because of like vacations, right? Spring break type stuff. So I've heard parents who their kids are in that bind right now, and the parents are in trouble and the kids are in trouble. But then you go to a private school, and the private school has one of two ways they go about things. You show up or you're done, you're out of school, or we don't care. You don't have to come to school, you're paying us anyway. So I've heard both of those. Like, your kid doesn't.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, so the private school that the girls go to, there you get bounced.
I would imagine.
Yeah, they don't put up with a lot. And I say that like they're in preschool. It was the cheapest preschool we could find.
Yeah.
It's not private school because we're rolling in it. It's because
Yeah.
it was the cheapest preschool I could find next to
That's hilarious.
my mom's house, who watches them when we work.
That's funny. But yeah, it just blows my mind because you think, I mean, public schools get money for every butt that's in a seat throughout the day, right? For like per hour.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could break it down that way, but I doubt it's per hour.
It is per hour. I know this because my kid's doing online schooling, and we had to do this whole conversation about accountability or attendance or whatever. So like if she doesn't work throughout the day, it's documented and it's a per hour thing.
Interesting.
So they do an audit for the school, and that's how you would know if.
Do they do that for everything, or is it just for the online stuff?
What do you mean?
Like, do they? Well, I suppose the audit is the number of days.
Well, the audit
disregard.
The audit they do, like if so, say you skip 3 hours a day,
Yeah.
that 3 hours adds up at the
So
end
they
of the
do
audit.
they do it by hour inside the school too.
Yep.
Crazy. I didn't
Yeah.
know it went down that way.
I didn't either. But obviously they want your butt in a seat. That's how they
Well,
get
so
their
that's
funding.
that's the next thing then. What's the hours per student? Like
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I want to know. I want to know if like they're dropping $30,000 into each student. Where's that money going? Right? Because if these kids aren't going to class,
Yeah.
that's typically why you have low test scores, right?
Right.
Because they're not
Yeah.
going to class.
Right. Or the class is so disruptive you
It's
can't
just
learn.
It's too much distraction, right? But you got to hand it to the kids that are at grade level or above because they're busting their ass in an environment that's probably not really great for them. So they're doing a phenomenal job to survive in that.
Yeah, I'd like to see the breakdown per school too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is all that coming from one school? You know what I mean?
There's like a handful of schools are
Right.
Well, it's
Bring
like
down the average.
I can't. Let's see if I can find the number of kids. Yeah, it's got to be just like a bunch of schools that are, because if you have, I wonder if all the kids that are above grade level or at grade level are coming from one area, or if it's spread out.
Yeah, I don't know. I still blame it on Democrat policies.
Well, that doesn't shock anybody, and this is like episode 4,
Yeah.
so they know where you're at.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I don't understand why people are against school choice.
I'm not even.
I don't even know how people get to that argument of keeping kids in a bad school. How do you get there?
Well, I mean, it comes
Or
down,
a bad district. So like, okay, don't blame the teachers. Blame the superintendent or
that's what you're saying. Like, what's the overhead, right?
Yeah.
So those teachers, those places are all in a spot. Maybe they've got like a corporate center, basically, right? They've got their district building, and their district building is packed with people. And if you start losing money per kid, well, obviously the salaries of those teachers are going down because you're not getting the funding that you're supposed to. So now all of a sudden, you've got people that are higher up that are probably out of jobs. I mean, it's the mass exodus. I mean, you would think, just judging by, stuff politically that's happening, like California is losing a ton of people, and eventually you got to atone for that, right? There's reasons why people are leaving and going to somewhere else. So if students are doing the same thing, you'd think that the people in your superintendent spots and at other places are going to have to atone for it, for not making the environment what it should be.
Yeah.
So maybe there's that fear there that, well, if we start letting kids go, we might have that mass exodus, and then our friends aren't going to be able to have their jobs anymore. I don't know. I mean, you know how the good old boy system works.
Yep. I do. So
You don't want to.
going back to these numbers, Chicago Public Schools contains 646 schools. 646 schools. 329,836 students.
That's a lot.
The minority enrollment is 90%,
Yep.
and 56.3% of students are economically disadvantaged.
What was that? What was the percentage?
56.3%.
So I mean, Chicago Public Schools, they are including the suburbs then, right? So
Well, yeah, like
They're
I said, it
including-
depends on how big they go
so
out.
they must not do what we do with like District 837,
Yeah, I don't
District
know.
830.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's just one giant.
just for the city of Chicago.
Yep. So it's one giant entity, right?
But that's how we do it too. The city has a school, Minneapolis school district.
Sure,
You
but
know, like it's
it
just Chicago's
sounds-
giant.
Yep, it sounds like the suburbs of Chicago are lumped in.
It's got to be.
It has to be. It has to be. There's no way you're getting that many students unless you are. I mean, there's not. I don't know. That's a lot. Either way, you look at the numbers and you look at what they're asking for, like, man, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a giant area.
Yeah, that's not a small area
No,
whatsoever.
that's huge.
That is a
That's got to be.
massive-
That's got to be more than just Chicago.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, you know what though? I never like to not see unions get what they want. So even the teachers union, because
For $50 billion.
sets a hell of a
I
precedent.
don't know
Pat.
if you're
Sets a hell of a
if
precedent.
you're gonna get that much money, you better have a good plan for getting.
It sets a hell of a.
You got to take ownership in getting those kids there. Then, like whatever the reason is, you've got to figure it out. If you're gonna ask for all of the tax money from the state,
Yeah. All of the tax.
All of it. All of it.
Every dime.
yep. There's no more road work. There's no more emergency
Well, yeah,
services.
but you know that's not going to happen.
Right, but that's what you're asking for.
Sure.
So you're gonna have to double.
You shoot for the moon and you're hoping that you end up with 5% or 4% or whatever. You're hoping for that. What the hell is that?
There's a cat somewhere. Yeah.
All right, so what do you got now for statistics?
You're struggling.
I am struggling.
I don't have anything for statistics. But I was just looking at the overview of the district. I don't want. You kind of. I feel like you kind of boxed me into blaming the teachers, and I was not trying to blame the teachers. But you cannot ask for something that ridiculous.
But you said
without
it yourself.
taking
I don't
some
think the teachers
ownership.
are asking
Right.
for that. I guess I don't have the facts behind it, right? I don't want to say
Nobody
that they
does,
are.
because, but that came out from the union. So like that's
Mm-hmm.
what they're looking at. Like that was a press release from the teachers union,
It's
and I
the
don't.
shock-
I could look.
it's
I
the
don't.
shock
I
and
don't
awe
care which one
campaign.
it is.
Shock and awe campaign of the public schools union. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just it blew my mind when I read that. I thought that it was a typo.
I would love to have that
But
kind of
it's
pay
not.
increase.
It's not. I got an article here. Let's see. 9% wage increases through 2028.
Damn, 40% damn near pay increase.
Yeah. So it was $1,000 per student per semester when they were assigned a number of students above contractual limits for teachers and counselors. So anybody over, whatever, however many kids they're supposed to have in the class, it's $1,000 a kid. A $2,500 retirement bonus for employees with more than 30 years of service. So is it just one time, $2,500, or is it $2,500 a year? I don't know.
Can you imagine that increase? A $36,000 increase, basically, is what that would be.
Dude, if we got $1,000 increase over the year, it's sweet.
But your phone is really throwing
Oh,
interference, huh?
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. One day we're going to have
health
an
care
editor.
with 100% coverage benefits for abortion care, 100% coverage benefits for fertility, including all full coverage of storage of embryos and other frozen storage needs.
Oh, okay.
$2,000 to be given to each migrant to help with academics, transportation, and mental health counseling.
Hold on a second. So this is in the teachers.
Yes.
They want money for migrant students?
Yes. Like I said, it's all just a political game, right? Like they mentioned the abortion, they're mentioning migrants.
So
They want
wait a second. Like
yeah.
when we go to negotiate a contract should that ever happen in the near future, I don't think the union is going to care about migrant children. They're going to ask for money for migrant children.
Well, I don't know how you negotiate for somebody that's not in the union.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Like, your union members would be up in arms that you're going to waste funds not on the union.
Right. You got that money for somebody else.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
600. So they want 646 public schools to have a newcomer liaison. So they want another position.
Yeah, they wanna hire another
646.
buddy.
They're probably at $144,000 a year.
Boy, they know how to make job security, don't they?
Shoot, they're just adding.
They
Well,
gotta-
then that person pays union
Think
dues.
their union has a bench?
Well,
They're just gonna-
I want to know how much their union dues are. Like, maybe they want that money because then it's, we get 5%. It wants the board to adopt policies that would prohibit any member from being compelled to tell parents when a student rejects his or her sex.
No, of course. The same
There it
crap that's
is.
all over the place,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mandate that every school in the district has at least one gender-neutral bathroom.
Again, that's not for the teachers. Well,
No.
maybe, I mean, if you're
Maybe it
trans
could be,
teachers,
could
okay,
be.
so that could be there.
But the telling the parents isn't.
Yeah, that's weird. They're putting just, obviously this is just an activist contract.
Yes, that's right. That is correct. They want to make news. But again, the mayor for Chicago came from there.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get some of that activist stuff,
You know,
if not all of it.
at some point, like we said it in the last episode, the parents have to start standing up.
Well, the teachers too, like the teachers that disagree with that.
Yeah, but you said it, don't they? Doesn't the teachers union
Yeah,
slap
but
it back down?
but what do you do? So you're just gonna always live with that? You're always gonna be in fear of the teachers union? There's private schools you can go
Well,
work at.
who's-
They don't make $144,000.
Who's the lady
but
that's so against Trump? The union, teachers union president.
I can't think of her name. It starts with a W. I want to say Weingartner, but
It is.
is that
yeah.
is that it, or is
Yeah.
that the
No.
domestic violence laws?
No, well, maybe that's that too, but that's her name as well.
That's weird. Yeah, or I can't remember the name of the teacher,
You gotta
the
get rid
teachers
of-
union president that was fighting for school. I think maybe that was Chicago too, fighting for schools to close during COVID, and then she was
Yeah.
in meetings on the beach in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, there was a lot of that throughout the
My
beginning
God.
stages of the pandemic.
Come on.
But again, corruption. This almost sounds like. This is going to be terrible to draw this comparison, but this almost sounds like Ukraine. Money going places to the school at a ridiculous amount of money going to the school.
On the bingo board, that wasn't there. Ukraine with the public schools.
Well, if you think about it,
No,
where's
you're
the
right.
accountability of the money?
The accountability of it, right?
So, I mean, these kids are getting $30,000 per child, and there's no product there that's putting numbers on the
Yeah,
board.
I would like to know a breakdown of how much of that actually gets to the student. Again, compare that to a regular district that's got $14,000 a kid, and their kids are not.
Not on the bingo board.
It wasn't.
Yeah, you didn't see that one coming.
Chicago Public Schools, Ukraine, same thing.
They're both war zones.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
I'm not wrong.
With the crime now, yeah, they probably are.
Yeah. I would like to see where that money's going.
Yeah.
There's
We'll see. I'll see if I can try to dig it up. It's public record. It should be out there, but good luck.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like when we were trying to find the money going to Ukraine now. Here we go.
You can't.
Off the rails.
This will be even harder to find.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We tried to look up how much money the U.S. has given to Ukraine since the war started, and you have to piece it all together. There is no story out there that you can find on Google. We should try DuckDuckGo.
Do you think that'd be different?
Yep, it's totally different. Like if you listen to Rogan's
Yeah, I know
podcast, they
DuckDuckGo
do
is different.
DuckDuckGo all the time.
Okay.
Or there's another one that they use to see, and they'll get different search results.
Yeah,
But-
not Google suggested results.
Yeah,
Weird.
it's the algorithm. It's fine. We just made it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can't find a total list. I actually did find one that was just released like a couple days ago. So I took a picture of it because I figured that'll be taken down as soon as the algorithm catches up.
Yeah. When they find it, that's coming down.
Yeah.
Can't have that out there.
But yeah,
If
I bet you can't find it, even though
Yeah.
you're supposed to be able to walk into anywhere. Like
That's
you
gotta
go
be
to a
public
university
record.
campus and you go into the library, you can demand, at least the public ones, you can ask for the the payroll. It has a list. It has what all the teachers make. In fact, when I was in a mass comm class, that was the professor. That was one of our tasks, was to go and get that and make a copy of it and bring it back, like to show, like, hey, you can go get this information. You can find out exactly how much I make.
Wow. But do you think you can get that in Chicago schools?
Well, I don't know where you would go. The high school library, you're not getting in. So is it?
Not
so
going
where
to
would
find
it
it
go?
anywhere. It's got to. You got to go to the
the
district
university
office.
library you can walk right into.
You're gonna have to go to a district office
Yeah,
and
they're
apply
not.
for
They're
it.
not going to give it to you.
You'd almost have to do a FOIA request just to get the information.
Probably
Would be
would.
my guess.
Yeah, through the mayor's office.
I don't know that.
We could do one. I've never done one. You want to do one?
Well, I'm not starting there. You can do one.
I shouldn't.
You shouldn't. I know you shouldn't. That's why. Yeah, you just want me to go ahead and okay.
Well, you live in the sticks.
At some
No
point-
one's coming out here. This would be a complete accident if they found you.
That is true.
I went through a whole tank of gas getting here.
You didn't take a quarter of a tank, not a whole tank, half a tank maybe.
I can only fill it to a quarter, so it was a whole tank.
I do like being out here. It's quiet. It's
Yeah, dude, it's sweet. There's nothing around here. It's great. My wife would never let us do it.
yeah, it's a little drive. I mean, you have small towns that you like support you, right? You have your grocery stores and things like that, but they're small market grocery stores. And then you have some bigger towns that are, within 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Still
you're within.
an hour.
It, look, I live in the cities. It still takes me 20 minutes to get somewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That doesn't. You're right. You have everything you need within 20 minutes,
Yep.
so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I don't like people, really. I don't like being around a ton of people. Weird, right?
Yeah, no, that's not weird at all. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I hate people.
It's not that I hate people. I just...
No, I hate people.
I know you do, for
like
sure.
I hate people.
No, I know. Trust me. I get it.
Man. And I don't like using the word hate, but I hate people. And I don't mean like individual people. Like obviously, I like a lot of people, but like people as a group, I cannot stand them.
Well, it goes back again. Like, people aren't being raised like they were. You know what I mean?
I hate old people too, so I don't.
You
know.
don't hate old people. Who can hate
I hate
old
any group. If it's more than like 4 people, I don't want to be near it.
I don't want to be in a group of people either, but that's more like PTSD.
That's what I'm
than-
saying. Like people as a group, not like individual people. I don't hate individual people. I hate people together as a group.
Yeah. I just don't like
I don't
being
know
in
how to
crowds.
explain it. I am not smart enough to articulate that.
I don't like being in crowds.
Yeah.
And usually when I find a crowd, it's like, I hate state fairs. I hate being where there's tons and tons of people.
I'm fat, so I like the food, so I have to deal with it.
You like the food. Food at state fairs are pretty good.
Dude.
Except
so
for
good.
I leave with like enough heartburn and indigestion to last me a
Oh,
lifetime.
yeah. I've eaten
Fried
enough
foods.
calories for the month.
I just don't like wading into a sea of people. I hate that.
But I do like people watching. I
That's
just
my
don't wanna
wife.
interact them.
That's my
I
wife.
just don't want to interact with you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
That's exactly how my wife is. Where you just sit on a bench and watch people all day long.
That's how me and my wife are. That's the best part. Now we have to bring the girls, and so now we don't get to sit down at all.
Right.
And then they want to go into like the butterfly house, and then they get terrified of the butterflies in the butterfly house. Why? It's a bug. It's a butterfly. It touched me. You're in a butterfly house.
Of course, it's going to. Yeah, that's a little.
Yeah, that's the little one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna get thrown out because she just started stomping on them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I touched her.
I brought my daughters, both my daughters, when they were little, to this farm that has like, it's all fenced in. It's a petting zoo. It's got deer and ducks and geese.
Yeah, I gotta bring them there. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not going to name the name, but
Yeah.
the place is awesome. And you basically buy some food and walk around and feed all these animals, right?
Yeah.
And there was a goose that was hissing at my daughter. And my youngest has a temper, and she reached out and grabbed that sumbitch by the neck and held on for dear life. And I thought we were going to jail. Oh, that poor goose was making noises I don't think I've ever heard a goose make before. Even in like hunting videos where they're getting dropped, like, hey. And she would not let go. She's like, yeah, God bless her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been there. Where you're
That's
like,
why you
"Oh,
haven't been back.
That is absolutely why
Got
we
it.
have not been
Your
back.
picture's on the wall. I'll go and let you know if it's still there.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know this guy? Yeah.
Don't be like that. We're the example. Don't let your kids do this. That was a good time. Great place. I love places like that. I just don't like tons of people around when I'm at a
Yeah,
place
I
like that.
hear
Like
you.
movie theaters, I don't like that either. It's just a lack of trust in everybody, I think.
For sure. Well, it's not getting better.
No, it's not.
It's literally getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting attacked. People just getting attacked for nothing.
Getting punched like, what was it that Steve in New York, Steve,
Buscemi.
yeah, Buscemi or whatever.
Buscemi?
Yeah, I mean, he's an old man. He's a well-known old man, an
Yeah.
actor. Gets punched
Was
in
a
the head.
firefighter in New York.
Yeah. After 9/11, as an actor, went back to Ground Zero to
Worked
help.
with the fire station.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Gets punched in the head for, what, walking down the street?
Just walking down the street.
Yeah, that stuff's happening all the time.
It's just crazy. It's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just we're not what people were. Society's not what it was, man. And it goes back to our last episode where I said things are changing. And I don't know that I'm ready for the change, man.
Yeah.
You punch somebody in the face and you get let out with no bail.
Yeah.
You attack a cop, you get let out with no bail.
Yeah.
I'm not on board for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
No, I don't think that's crazy.
And the funny thing, there's a lot of guys in the labor industry. There's a lot of that crap is not going to fly. Eventually you're going to come across the wrong guy.
Oh yeah, some fucking guy that's just jacked.
And he's going to dent your head with a tire iron.
Yeah.
And-
I don't. He's not even gonna. Some of those guys, you don't even need a tire iron.
Yeah.
He's just gonna hit you, and you're gonna be out.
And it's coming.
He's gonna find that reset button, and it's gonna be a hard reset.
System crash.
Yep.
System failure.
System rebooting.
Yeah. And it's coming. I mean, eventually somebody's going to fight back, and it's
Yeah.
going to be ugly.
Well, I mean, it happens to those people all the time. They fight back, and then they cry that they're the victim.
Yeah, I just can't support that. Like, if
No.
you're an asshole to begin with, and now all of a sudden you're the victim, like, it just makes me think even less, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how we get out of it.
Parenting?
Well,
I know that's
but
not
how do we
helping.
get there? We have to get there, right? Like we have to get to that point of.
I
I've
said this
think
before.
that that's pretty obvious.
I said this before, and I think the average person in this country just wants to be left alone, right? They want to be able to flip on the TV, watch the ball game,
Oh, you're just talking about with ESPN,
yep,
right?
order some Domino's, order whatever,
Domino's sounds good.
order whatever, man. Order a pizza, right?
Domino's is so much better than that used to be.
Mm-hmm. But they just want to be left alone. They don't want to be political. They don't want to have to deal with the BS. They don't want to have to put up with it, right? And they won't be a part of the solution until they're brought into it. They're forced into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At that point, then they have no choice but to stand up. The problem is, will it be too late by then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you watched like the same video that I did of the construction worker in New York, and they asked him, "What do you want to say to Biden?" And
Yeah.
you saw that video.
Yeah. I think everybody has.
And I think there's this general feeling like we're starting to see a swing here in this country that your tradesmen, your laborers, most of your union members, minus this teachers union in Chicago, but most of your union members in crafts are, like,
Do I have to believe that there is a bunch of teachers union members who feel that way but can't say anything?
oh, I'm sure there's some. I don't know about a bunch.
I bet there's a bunch.
I'd be interested in the breakdown of like liberal to conservative. Where do you fall in the teachers, the gamut there? Like what's the percentage of teachers that are liberal? Because if you're coming out of 4-year colleges now, you're not seeing too many that are ultra conservative.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see the breakdown there. And that's, again, I'm not saying that you're not a bad person if you're a Democrat. You're not a bad person if you're a Republican. You just have
You're
to work
a bad
together.
person if you're a communist.
You're-
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I guess. Everybody's got a great idea until their idea goes south.
You let me know what communist regime worked, and then we'll talk about it.
Right. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of debate about that.
What?
Well, you watch some of these. I mean, you think so. The leaders of tomorrow are the kids of today, right? The college students of today, right? So like the AOCs and all these kids, and you watch them, You watch what they say. You listen to what they say in the videos that we watch. They disagree with you. It doesn't matter if communism's killed millions upon millions of people. They don't care. They don't care if Marxism's killed millions upon millions of people. They don't care. They don't, because in their minds, it hasn't been done right yet. I can do it right, or so-and-so can do it right this time.
We'll see.
And you look at it, and you're just like, okay, well, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we seem to be. We're all doomed at this point to repeat history.
Well, especially if you're gonna get rid of, or you're gonna whitewash history, or however you want to say it.
Yeah, redcon history.
Yeah.
Change it. Go back to what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Not teaching it because it's racist.
Well, I mean,
if you don't teach history, you will repeat it.
Yeah. But, I mean, you go back to what I said in the last episode. If your political party was the one who is on the lam or is on the hook for being the party that created slavery, the party that defended it, the party that punished people for going away from slavery, if you're that party, of course you want to tear down every statue that represented what you used to stand for. You know what I mean? That's called the redconning of history. They're trying to change it, and they're trying to make it, a different thing. I can't remember the documentary by Dinesh D'Souza, but he went into the Democratic National Museum in Washington, and they have a portrait of Abraham Lincoln hanging up in the Democratic National Museum. Mm-hmm. Why? He was the first Republican president, right? Well, of course he freed the slaves, and for people who don't know who he is, go to a college campus and ask if he was a Democrat or Republican, and I bet you a lot of them say Democrat.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing where they're like, oh, he freed slaves. Yeah, he also fought against your party, basically, to free the slaves. So, I mean, it's that kind of thing where it's out there, and they do it constantly. It's a tactic, and it's not going to change. They're going to rip down statues that remind everybody of what they used to stand for. And at the same time, they're going to say anybody who defends that's a bad person. Well, it was your party that defended it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we fix that. Like I don't.
Ron White says you can't fix stupid, so I'm not sure that we can. I mean, that's where we're at.
Yeah, but then it's just gonna tailspin out of control.
Bro, I mean,
I hate to say that we're not already tailspinning out of control.
We are in the bird with the Iranian president at this point. That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't in the bird that long.
Oh, he sure wasn't.
That's not nice, man.
Too soon. I'm sorry.
It's too soon. Tomorrow.
I apologize.
You can do that joke tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What else you
got? Boy, I don't know. There's a lot of current events. You got to give some respect out to the Timberwolves, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you can.
What do you mean you can?
Well, you crush a team twice. Right?
Yeah.
Then you get crushed twice.
Okay.
Or 3 times.
I wouldn't call it. Okay, yeah.
I mean, they did. It was one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're down 20 points. Like, yeah, props are coming back. But what in the hell happened after that second game?
Well,
right? Like, you crushed them in the second game. You took away their spirit.
Yeah, but you're also taking away. You right now are saying that Denver couldn't make any adjustments. They made adjustments. They figured out.
Yes, okay, but then you got beat by like 40 points. That's not making an adjustment.
Yeah, but
that's not making an adjustment. Otherwise, if Denver had made that adjustment, they would have won the series in Game 6.
I disagree because Minnesota then adjusted to Denver and put Cat on Joker.
I don't know. Honestly, the whole thing's just rigged. They went to 7 games. They wanted it to go 6-7. That's what it is.
All right.
That's what I think.
So the Vegas then, or who's rigging it? We're gonna get shot.
Just the NBA.
The NBA.
Yeah.
Just for the viewership, just for the extra money.
For the money.
They're definitely making more money.
The NBA's had that cloud for a long time. All their games go to 6 or 7.
Everybody's had that cloud. The NFL has that
the
cloud.
NFL doesn't have series.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Everybody's got that cloud of saying like it's rigged. But I don't know. I still think look, I'm not a basketball fan, but I've been paying attention to the Wolves because we have not had a team.
Yeah, 20 years since they went to the finals.
Good on them. Our claim to fame for the last 30 years has been the Lynx.
Yeah, and they fell off.
Yeah.
I don't even
It's
know.
the only championship team we've had
Yeah.
since, what, 90,
Well, they went
91?
4. How many they went? 4 or 5?
A lot with Waylon.
I feel like we should know that.
You feel like we should know that?
Yeah. Like they're the only team that's won a championship
Since 91,
Since
yeah.
91. We should know that.
It's 5.
You think so?
No, I'm making a complete guess, but I feel like it's 5. I feel like they went back to back, missed one, won one, and then went back to back again.
4.
4.
11, 13, 15, and 17. No
Oh.
back-to-backs.
Yeah, that shows you how much I paid attention.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we have a team that's winning again. Now they just got to get past the conference finals, and then.
Well, this was a championship game.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Wolves, even with playing Denver, they were like the third favorite to win it all.
Let's get a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Well, the number 1 seed just lost in both the East and the West. So now the Timberwolves have home court.
Yep. Boy, it's exciting times if you're a Wolves fan, huh?
Yep.
Good for them, man. I watched this morning. I saw the news and I saw Cat and Ant. Wow. Doing
Their
interview.
press conference?
Yeah, they're
How long you want us to lose for? We've been losing for 20 years.
they're hilarious together. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
I liked
We
when
lost last year.
Ant said, "I'm gonna let you handle this one. I've only been here for 3 years." Cat's like, "Oh, now you've only been here for 3 years."
Yeah, they're good. They're funny.
They're good together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for them. Congratulations to those guys. That's awesome. Let's hope that they keep it going.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like if you're a Minnesota sports fan, you're so used to being let down.
Dude, everybody was like, I effing hate Minnesota sports teams after game 3.
Yeah.
Game 4.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, we'll bounce back. Then game 4 happened. They got crushed even more.
Yeah.
And then game 5, they
And
came
then-
back here.
Now we're back to reality as a Minnesota
Yeah,
sports fan.
now it's everybody's running around with their shirts off, like celebrating. Like, come on.
Right. But you're so used to that
Yeah.
letdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're so used to, I don't know.
The abuse.
Yeah, the abuse.
That's what it is.
This is
Just getting abused by sports teams here.
if you're a Minnesota sports fan, you should have been in a shelter a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like you should have
They
been.
closed all the mental hospitals.
Yeah, you should have been trying to get out of this relationship for a long time.
I tried to move.
You stayed in it 10 years longer than you should have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Let's hope that good things are coming. And then you got the Vikes with their draft this year that finally maybe you might have hit the mark. We'll see. Time will
Oh,
tell.
they couldn't get anybody else. Well, I don't want to cut him down because I think he's going to be good. But they wanted to move up to get somebody else, and they couldn't. You couldn't. When you can't move, you can't move. Like
Yeah.
the other team needed a quarterback as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could have sold the farm to move up, but that would have cost you in the long run. So
I mean, it wasn't just selling the farm.
you just
It
got
was selling your rights to everything in the future.
Tom Brady wasn't like he was like 3rd round, 4th round.
Something like that.
I mean, he was way down the list.
Well, look at Brock Purdy,
Yep.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yep. Now, who knows? Maybe this kid turns out to be, he should have been picked first.
Yeah. Well, and I think that he's in a good situation with the weapons that the Vikings have,
Mhm.
plus the coach that they have.
Yep, quarterback coach. Yep, he's ready.
They have a quarterback coach, and the head coach was a quarterback coach. So,
This could be a good.
but we get Sam Darnold until he's ready. So that's sweet.
Don't hate on Sam.
No, we're gonna bring him on. He's gonna be our first guest.
Oh my God. Yep. And
No, we're not.
yeah. I just talked about Minnesota sports fans jumping ship and getting out of this abusive relationship and going to a shelter, and you want to bring on.
That was a very sarcastic joke.
Mhm.
You know that.
Oh yeah. What else?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're kind of slowing down here.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy couple of days, man. I mean,
It was only gonna get crazier.
I know.
Right? You got the Trump trial. Who knows what happens with that this week?
Yeah,
You got the Libertarian National Convention.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's this week. Trump speaking
Trump's-
at it.
Trump's gonna
RFK
go.
speaking at it. Vivek speaking at it.
I like Vivek.
I like Vivek. Yeah.
Mhm.
I like Vivek. I like Tulsi.
I like Tulsi.
I
Yeah.
like RFK.
Yep. I like RFK. He's done a really good job. This damn dog is going to be the death of me.
Yeah. It will kill you. Maybe
It could. Yeah.
it could.
She's big
It's a
enough.
German Shepherd.
Hmm. She is a large dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's trying to get in my lap.
The good news is now I just need to know that. Just say, well,
Yeah.
and she'll leave me
Well,
alone.
don't say that on the air. I don't need. This dog is supposed to
I'll
be
edit that
intimidating.
part
Yeah,
out.
you gotta edit that part out.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it only worked because you said it first.
Oh no, she would definitely. If you say that, she'd be like, "Oh, okay." What?
Yeah, but then she'd murder me for not playing ball with her.
Yeah, she's very protective of her family, which is good.
That's good. But also a good dog.
Yeah,
I don't know her. She's been good to me.
yeah. She'll calm down. She calms down right away. Well, I suppose, man. Let's wrap this one up, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, we like to thank you for joining. Go give your spiel.
You can go to our website, bluecollartakes.com. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, it's Blue Collar Takes. And Twitter, it's Blue Collar Take. No S. Blue
Good.
Collar Take.
Couldn't get that one.
Somebody else has Blue Collar Takes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm not paying for it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, everybody. Thanks for listening. We kind of went off the rails again, but that's to be expected for us.
Yeah, at this point, we can stop saying that. It's just going to be what happens.
It's a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you later.